morning, students. Welcome to the IGCSE online sessions. I'm Mr. Charles, and this is the third lesson of week 6. Please go to your course book, page 174, Mokoye Bembe. Text A, an African dinosaur swamp monster. Let's read together. Fossil remains of dinosaurs have been found on most continents, but there is an area of Central Africa where some people believe a Brontosaurus still exists. It is a swamp monster called Mokoye Bembe, meaning one who stops the flow of rivers. Belief in Mokoye Bembe dates back to the 16th century, although speculation about its origins is more recent. Reported sightings describe an elephant-sized creature with smooth skin and a long, flexible neck. Some include a frill along the neck. Others say it has a tail like crocodile. Most reports specify it has clawed feet. Native pygmies, say Mokoye Bembe, feed on riverbank trees and live in deep underwater caves. In 1987, two American researchers, Roy McCall from the University of Chicago and James Powell, said that Mokoye Bembe could indeed be a Brontosaurus. Their statement relates back to a book published in 1909, Beasts and Men, by an amateur zoologist named Carl Hagenbeck, who connected the Congo swamp monster to the recently unearthed bones of a sauropod. This was circulated worldwide by the press, and in 1910 the Washington Post ran a story announcing Brontosaurus still lives. Subsequent reports increased numerically, but none were ever traced to genuine first-hand stories or actual sightings. In 1992, a Japanese film crew caught a 15-second shot of what appears to be a large creature with a long neck swimming on a Central West African lake before diving. A book published in 1999, Cryptology A to Z, includes the testimony of a Congolese biologist, Marcelin Gnagna, who supposedly glimpsed Mokoye Bembe wading into Lake Tele in 1983. Gnagna tried to film the creature, but his excitement forgot to remove the lens cap on his camera. Scientists and journalists have regularly investigated the Congo region for over 100 years now, but the beast continues to evade them. Text B. Around 1960, the forest-dwelling pygmies at the Lake Tele region, the Bangombe tribe, fished daily in the lake near the Molibos, or water channels situated at the north end of the lake. These channels merge with the swamps and were used by Mokoye Bembes to enter the lake, where they would browse on the vegetation. This daily excursion into the lake by the animals disrupted the pygmies' fishing activity. Eventually, the pygmies decided to erect a stake barrier across the Molibo in order to prevent the animals from entering the lake. When two of the animals were observed attempting to break through the barrier, the pygmies speared one of the animals to death and later cut it into pieces. This task apparently took several days due to the size of the animal, which was described as being bigger than a forest elephant, with a long neck, small snake-like or lizard-like head, which was decorated with a comb-like frill. The pygmy spearmen also described a long, flexible tail, a smooth reddish-brown skin, and 4 stubby but powerful legs, with clawed toes. Pastor Thomas also mentioned that the two pygmies mimicked the cry of the animal as it was being attacked and speared. During my first expedition in 1985, we met with several eyewitnesses who have observed Mokoye Bembes in the Sangha and Likwala or Herb rivers. Our pygmy informants also mentioned that there were at least two Mokoye Bembes still living in the Lake Tele vicinity, but they were simply too afraid to take us to a precise location where we could actually film and observe a specimen of Mokoye Bembe due to their superstitious beliefs surrounding that animal. During our two visits to the Congo, my colleagues and I were unable to locate a single one of the dozens of eyewitnesses that allegedly observed Mokoye Bembe with the aforementioned explorers. Marcelin Agnagna changed his story several times and is now thought by Roy McCall to have observed the giant African freshwater turtle, Trionyx triogues something. Herman Registers or Rechesters and his wife Kia are the only individuals on this expedition to have observed a long-necked member traveling across the Lake Tele, in spite of the fact that 28 other people were with them from the village of Boha. Roroy Noggin's alleged Mokoye Membe photos could be anything, although he may have seen something in the distance. But Jose Borge, the Congolese wildlife official who accompanied the 1988 Japanese expedition to the lake, reported that the entire expedition observed a large humped back of an animal slowly moving along, as if foraging on the bottom of the lake, eating, which is 3 meters deep at most. So the animals are still there, and I still want to find one. An article by William Gibbons. William Gibbons has conducted 2 major expeditions to the Congo, in 1985 till 86 and in 1992, in search of Mokoye Bembe. He conducted 2 other field investigations on the island of Mauritius in the southern Indian Ocean in 1990 and 1997, after 2 European visitors claimed dodo sightings. Operation Congo 3 and Project Dodo 3, or the third, are currently under development. He is currently pursuing a PhD in cultural anthropology with Warnborough College in Oxford. What we have to do about texts A and B is the directed writing questions, writing an article, page 176. The question cites that you have been on an expedition to find Mokoye Bembe. Write an article on what you saw for a popular daily newspaper in your country. Use the information in text A and B and write in an appropriate style, between 200 till 250 words. This should take you more or less than an hour, and you have to write an article with these demands. Go back to your notebook, jot down an article, a newspaper-worthy article with the specifications that we talked about or you have watched in the videos earlier, and then go back to the video, and then we will see what are the specifications that you generally had to do about structure and the specifications you generally had to do about content. Now that you are back, regarding structure, you have to have written a catchy headline that expresses what idea you are about to say, expresses your main topic, that is the finding or the expedition on Mokoye Bembe, and it had to be catchy. It had to draw the readers into reading on. Beneath it, there had to be, or there have had to be, a brief comment to intrigue the readers to read on. For example, at the simplest way, the headline would be Mokoye Bembe still lives, for example. Beneath it, the four-legged dinosaur still roams the forest. This brief comment is other than the headline to encourage the readers to continue reading on. The byline, that is, you had to write beneath it as well, beneath the brief comment, that is your name as the writer. And then a subheading that includes minor other related details. So a subheading about the Mokoye Bembe, and then minor related details that contribute to the overall picture. Introduction, body, conclusion about the topic. In the conclusion, you might have as well speculated a little bit about what might have or might happen in the future regarding its finding or its existence, survival, etc. I remind you these are guidelines. You don't have to stick word for word about what you or what I am mentioning, as might as that you have to stick about the general rules. So whatever your headline might be, this is your own choosing. Just make sure it's catchy, brief. Whatever your brief comment is underneath it, just make sure it's to increase the readers and so on. Regarding content, the style of writing, what should you have included in your piece? You should have included, you must have included Mokoye Bembe's name, meaning. What does it mean? The creature that stops the flow of the river. This is in the introduction. And then the description that it has grey-brown body, long neck with frill on top of it that covers it, and a small head. You have to have referred back to Lake Tele and Bangum tribe, pygmies, the elves, the dwarfs of the tribe. And then, how did the incident happen? Supposedly that the pygmies speared and butchered one Mokoye Bembe. The interest and fascination about this creature comes from its supposed relation to dinosaurs. That's why people are so fascinated with it. And that Gibbons, the writer, refuses preceding accounts about its existence, but he does want to find one when he says, I still want to find one. Agnagnas changed his story many times that affected the belief in Mokoye Bembe's existence. And then Borges observed a large humpback animal along the lake. So basically, you have to have mentioned the most famous stories or accounts on the finding of Mokoye Bembe, as well as a brief description of what this supposed creature is, why is it fascinating, why is it of interest to the people, in the form of an article of approximately 200 words. I again assure you that your words do not have to be identical to mine. Just as long as you roam around the same ideas and you mention most of the details, if not all, you are on the safe side. We're done for today. Thank you very much for listening. Stay safe and keep up the good work.